Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the Star Wars Movie Podcast. According to various websites and sources out there, they've been stating for a while that it looks like Ryan Gosling, who is a pretty famous, not quite A-lister, but definitely one of those actors that has that name recognition in the indie world. Apparently, he's being courted to star in the latest Star Wars trilogy, and that he'll actually have the main part as Luke Skywalker's son. Again, this is all very preliminary stuff, but multiple websites have gone with that a bit of news, and so I decided to share it with everybody here. Now, here's my thoughts on why I don't believe that even if, let's say, Ryan Gosling is being courted for Star Wars, why something like this will never come about. And it's mainly because of Ryan, in this case, as himself as an actor. I haven't actually seen any of his movies before in the past. I guess it's just one of those things, not because I'm avoiding them, but it's mainly because he just hasn't really been in anything that I wanted to, let's say, see. If he one day comes about, let's say, in a film that I do want to see that happens to star other people, but he happens to be in it, then I guess that'll be my first experience with him. But in this case, this is what's going on with regards to at least my, let's say, movies that I come across with Ryan Gosling. I still don't have that experience yet. But judging from the outside in, from what I could tell on his part, he is somebody that would absolutely not do something like this because it just doesn't feel like him. And what I mean is, something like a Star Wars film, it's pretty much the mecca of everything related to blockbusters. I mean, you don't get bigger than Star Wars unless someday in the future X-Men movies can be merged with the Avengers movies, and let's throw in every other Marvel character and do it as a Secret Wars. That would get to that level. But in this case, him doing something like Star Wars, I just don't see it. And the main reason for it is he's mainly starred in indie type films, not the kind that essentially show, let's say, in only a few theaters throughout the country, but the kind of films that are very art-driven, character-driven, story-driven, the kind that make actors want to be actors. And he doesn't give up that kind of film or that type of film to work on blockbusters all day long. He's not like, let's say, a Johnny Depp or Robert Downey Jr. that can trade doing the occasional blockbusters here and there to work on independent films, because he hasn't done anything like that before. So for him to suddenly be thrown into something like this, again, I just don't see that happening. Also, the other reason is because somebody like him would have to commit to at least probably 8 to 10 years of his life to something like this. And that's because a movie like this, especially if, let's say, he is playing the big part and he's playing Skywalker's son, that part is going to be existing throughout the entire trilogy. It's not going to be something that's going to be thrown away after the first movie. And God forbid if the studio runs into the issue where they're having to recast the actor for the second or third film. That's something that is wholly unavoidable or as unavoidable as much as possible when it comes to the Star Wars film. Which is why, again, I don't see him doing this, because when he's looking at that contract and he runs into the scenario that, hey buddy, you're going to be spending the next decade or so doing something like this, so you're going to have to push all your projects to the side, especially all those indie ones that you love. I definitely don't see him doing this. And thirdly, I don't see him doing something like this because if somebody is trying to do this, let's say just for name recognition, to get his name out there, he wouldn't do something like this. I believe him to be somebody that just wants to make movies, but wants to be also, I guess you could call it, hidden. He doesn't want to have mobs of people storming after him left and right, screaming his name. I just don't see him wanting to be in that superstar celebrity status, and so I could truly see him as avoiding a role like this. I do see that other websites are now, they've also reported that, according to his representatives, this rumor, quote-unquote, is not true. But again, the whole deal with J.J. Abrams and anything having to do with any of his movies, and the casting is deny, deny, deny. So is there this possibility that he's still being courted for something like this? I still think so. I still think that that's a relevant possibility. But at the end of the day, based on the reasons that I mentioned, and again, I'm just going by how I believe his character is. I haven't seen any of his movies, but judging by his past history, you can tell his future decisions. And I still believe that he won't do something like this. And for the sake of the franchise, it's best if he doesn't, especially if he's not going to be as committed as his role should be. Not that I'm saying that he's not professional. There's a difference between being professional and being committed. It's the fact that something like this, again, will require a huge amount of years, and he just wouldn't give up something like that. You can look at the past examples with regards to the prequels. You can talk to any of the actors, such as Natalie Portman or Liam Neeson, and while they did, in this case Natalie, she did all the 3 films. It wasn't necessarily, one of the high points of her acting career, but she did it to gain the recognition. She got the recognition, and so she's using it to star in other films. And I don't believe that Ryan would do something like this, even just for the name recognition itself. But anyways, let me know what you think. Do you want him to be in a film like this? He sounds like a very accomplished actor. I mean, somebody that is an actor's actor. And for him to take on a role like this, it would actually be a blessing in disguise. But let me know what your thoughts are. Post them on below. Share them with everybody. Thanks as always, everybody. Take care. Bye.